Well, how do you do? I know it's just as I turn the camera on. How do you do, man? So, it is still Thanksgiving Day. My wife and I actually fixed everything early and ate early. It's just the two of us, but we do expect to have the grandkids later this afternoon, so the leftovers will be fine. So after dinner, I typically have bourbon, but because bourbon is Digestif, I'm going to assume Irish whiskey is too. I've actually been saving this one for a while. That's not a bottle, I just noticed. I actually bought it back in August when we were in St. Louis. Took a little vacation to met some folks camping for 2 days, and then drove down to St. Louis and spent 3 days there, and it was just a heck of a time. I can't yet get this whiskey here in my neck of the woods, so I picked it up there. It's the Irishman, their Founder's Reserve, small batch Irish whiskey, a unique vatting using 70% aged single malt and 30% pot still whiskey with intense aroma and complexity, giving it a classic extra smooth taste. A creation by founder Bernard Walsh. They also say on their website that it is the only blended Irish that uses 100% distillates from pot still whiskey. It doesn't use zero grain or column still whiskey, which most do. So there you go. I haven't had this before. Triple distilled for a smoother taste. This vatting of single... Here, I'm going to put the glass up there and let you look at the whiskey while I read. Single malt whiskey is matured and aged to perfection in bourbon-infused barrels. Fragrant notes of green apple and honey give way to pot still spice, summer fruits, and deep finish fading into spice, oak, and butterscotch. They don't give you an exact age on it, as you see. They do not. Okay, there you go. Typically, a whiskey like this will use anything somewhere between 4 to 10-year-old whiskeys. That's kind of what I'm guessing, although I don't know that for a fact. Oh, well, I'm using my small snifter. It's very nice. I don't doesn't say it here, actually. It says... the intense aroma and complexity of classic extra smooth single malt intense aroma. Yeah, I believe their website says to look for notes of green apple and peaches. I think it says on the website. You do get some fruit aromas on the nose. There's no doubt, but there is a lot of well, that pot still spice that they describe. I'm gonna take a drink. Oh, good golly, that's nice. Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. Wow. Typically, when I pop a whiskey for the first time, you've seen me do videos where I have some neat and some on the rocks. Right now, I'm just doing neat because it's Thanksgiving, so it's just after dinner, and that's when you really want to drink that whiskey neat. Use it as a digestif. Oh, it's just freaking gorgeous. I do get that green apple they talk about. There's other fruit notes as well. There's certainly some oak and vanilla. Their website says to look for flavors of chocolate, spice, vanilla, caramel, butterscotch. All those are there in the whiskey. You do feel the chocolate, although it is very subtle. It is there. You can feel it. Oh, it's nice. It's beautiful. This kind of whiskey, it's at 80 proof, so it's it's not a big proof, so it's not one you got to worry about too much. But for me, this type of whiskey is one I want to sit and sip and savor. I will try some on the rocks at some point, but this isn't a whiskey that I'd highball or cocktail with. I'd use a less expensive whiskey for such an application, as it were. So, hey, I'm going to kick back and enjoy. I may come back out with a beer later on Thanksgiving. It's Time to Beer Whisper. We'll talk to you later. And howdy do. So here's a question for you. It's still Thanksgiving. If a bourbon is a digestif, is a bourbon barrel ale, I'm going to say yes. This is the Mother's Ale aged in bourbon barrels. They're Imperial 3 blind mice, 10.5%, 38 IBUs. They have 3 blind mice or brown ale. Then they do an Imperial version of it, a bigger brown ale, and this one is even bigger than that because it ages in those bourbon barrels. Let me read just a little bit from the bottle. Imperial 3 blind mice, once Mother's little brown beer, is now all grown up and running the show. Left to rest and age in bourbon barrels, this beer is rich and full-bodied with chocolate, coffee, and caramel flavors. It bestows a beautiful bourbon character, balanced finish, and balanced finished on its loyal subjects. This is one regal brew fit for a king, out on the town or home in the castle. Well, today I'm home in the castle. I had it out on the town last week at the beer fest. It is a wonderful beer, and this is after my meal. I had a little Irish whiskey, and I'm gonna pop this and call it a day. May do another one later, hard to tell. This may be the last of the Thanksgiving videos. Everything came out pretty well. I mean, we took it pretty easy. You know, we did potatoes and sweet potatoes. I did some stuffing. You know, we didn't do more than 2 people need for sure, but we didn't do a huge spread, so it'll be nice to have the leftovers for later anyways. The nose is intense on this beer, and as you can see, I'm using a snifter, only pouring a few ounces at a time here. And that's really, for me, how you want to enjoy a beer like this, right? This isn't one you want to guzzle. I think I've talked to folks that don't drink craft beer, and a lot of what they don't understand is that you approach beers like this differently. You know, I'm not knocking the macro 30-pack drinkers. If that's the way you like to drink, that's the way you like to drink. But again, you approach it differently. You're not popping a beer trying to get drunk fast. You pop it trying to enjoy everything around it. The aromas, how it develops in the glass. There's just a whole lot around it. It's just a whole different process. It's not guzzle and chug and get buzzed. It's, you know, it's pour, relax, you know. I mean, it's not wine pretentious. You don't have to wait 30 minutes for it to breathe, although you can. I've seen people do it. I personally don't. The aromas are very intense on this. I'm getting some almost some brown sugar-like sweetness combined with some big malt, and along with those huge whiskey notes of vanilla and oak and caramel, as they say here. Let's see, 10.5, 38 IBUs. I think I said that already, but I wanted to go back and look again. Yep, chocolate, coffee, caramel. Yeah, you certainly get all of those things. For me, the chocolate and the coffee are subtle, but they are there. I'm getting some, for me, I'm getting these like molasses-like notes in there that kind of hover between the chocolate and the coffee. It's kind of in there. I guess that's where you get your caramel from, in there somewhere. But I'm actually getting more, again, I'm getting more of that molasses than I am specifically caramel. For me, anyway, you know, get what you want, man. It doesn't matter. I hate when people tell folks you're wrong when they describe the beer. Well, you're wrong. Well, nobody's wrong. If that's how you feel it, that's how you feel it, you know? I mean, damn, this shit ain't written in stone. It can be whatever you want it to be. Everybody tastes things differently. This is a beautiful way to end my Thanksgiving, I don't know, video diary, I guess it would be. I just kind of tell you what we've been doing all day. Over the last 2 days, this one's going to run long. I may have to break it up into 2 parts because I ran some long, so but we'll see how it goes. It's a beautiful beer. Runs about $10 a bottle. Not cheap, not crazy expensive, especially for a bourbon barrel aged beer. It's really not bad. So hey, I'm Tom the Beer Whisperer. I want to again. I don't want to. Oh, what's where I'm looking? I don't want to you know, beat a dead horse or keep repeating myself. But I do want to thank folks that have stuck with me for all these years that I've been doing this nonsense, and follow me on various social media, and have looked at my blog. It's tomthebrewerster.com if you'd like to check it out. Know all of our trials and tribulations, losing our son Seamus to leukemia, and I've had a lot of support from friends over the last few years, and a lot of them I've never even met in person, is what I mean to say. So again, hey, it's Tom the Beer Whisperer. Hope you're all having a great holiday. We're doing okay here. Thank you. Bye.